y'all, Dixie here. Today I want to talk to you about my favorite packs. We are coming to you today from a neighborhood walk, and yes, I said packs plural because I think that there are different applications where certain packs make the most sense. Because our gear preferences are ever changing, or at least mine are, as time goes on. I haven't made a video about my favorite pack in almost 5 years, so I figured it was time to update that. So the first category of packs that I want to cover is the short day hike pack. So this is, you're going out for an hour, not too far from the car, throwing in, you know, a bottle of water, a banana, and then of course like the most basic 10 essentials of backpacking that I think it's important to have with you no matter how long you plan to be out. And even if it's a well-known trail, you're close to your car, whatever. That way, if things do go south for some reason, you've got your bases covered. So for this little short stroll of a hike, I'm gonna take my REI Flash 22. Now, the 22 in that name is 22 liters, so that's the volume of the pack. And that is perfect for me for, like I said, just for the bare essentials to get out and go get some fresh air for an hour or two. The pack has 2 cup holders on either side, but if you're a person who prefers a hydration pouch, it is compatible to put a hydration bladder in it. I know this is not necessarily backpacking related unless you're like flying to go on a backpacking trip, but I've even taken the REI Flash 22 on flats as my personal item because it's just perfect for, you know, the essentials that you might need on a flat. I've also toted it around Disney World to carry whatever I might need for the day in the park. So it's just the perfect little bag. It's got little zippered pockets to help with organization, and it's just the perfect size for me for that application. The Flash 22 is a frameless pack, but you're not gonna have a ton of weight with the volume that you have anyway. I mean, unless you're just packing like dumbbell weights, and why would you? It does have a hip belt though, so if you want that little bit of extra support, it exists. It's made from ripstop nylon and has a DWR coating to help repel water, but it's definitely not waterproof by any means, and anything that you've got in there that you don't want getting wet, you definitely need to make sure you've gotten some kind of watertight bag, like an Isla Fume pack liner or, you know, Walmart sack something. Well, maybe not a Walmart sack. This pack weighs less than a pound at 14 ounces and costs $60. They do have several color options, but my favorite color is black, so that's what I went with. Now, I feel like to be fair and completely transparent, clearly my go-to selection for today for a short little, you know, fresh air stroll is the Osprey Poco Premium, which is this baby carrier, but it also has some storage space for the essentials that I would need for a little day hike. So obviously this is my go-to for a quick day stroll because I got my little buddy with me now and I'd be taking him. But I didn't feel right making a standalone baby carrier category because this is the only one I've ever tried, so I really don't have anything to compare it to, and I just feel like it wouldn't be right to be like, well, this is my favorite if, you know, it's also my least favorite if you want to be technical about it. If you want to learn more about this carrier though, I did do a review on all the gear that I carried for Bratcher on a short overnight hike we went on up Springer Mountain, and I will link to that video in the video description of this video. So moving along to day treks, or, you know, full day hikes. This is where I'm gonna need to carry everything that I will use in a day in my pack. So all the food that I'll eat, water filtration, maybe a little bit more water capacity than what I need for an hour. Probably some more sturdy 10 essentials of backpacking. You know, I'm more at risk of needing to pull a random overnighter because of some kind of conditions or whatever. In that instance, I'm gonna need more pack capacity than just the 22 liters. And also for me in that instance, I'm probably gonna have a lot of camera equipment. So for a situation where I need all that stuff, I'm gonna grab my Moment Stroll Mountain Light Pack. It's a 45-liter pack, so it's got about double what the REI Flash does. I actually use this pack for these instances on Mount Kilimanjaro and in Scotland on the West Highland Way, and in both cases I didn't have to carry my stuff to overnight. The seams on this pack come already taped, so I mean technically it's waterproof up to a certain PSI, but I never trust that. I always do redundancies as far as waterproofing goes, because you don't want to end up with a wet puffy coat when you're freezing. But it is nice to know that the seams are taped, the fabric is waterproof, so you do have that extra protection. This pack does have a removable steel frame, and probably one of my favorite features is it has removable hip belt pockets. So I actually remove one of those, and I like to put my camera clip there so I don't have as much weight on my shoulder and it doesn't get hurting. I guess in general, I really love the mashup of the outdoors with photography that was in mind when this pack was created. So it's got a lot of different entry points and places to put your camera equipment. It does have pockets on either side for water bottles, but if you've got those filled up with tripods or other gear, then it is water bladder compatible. The weight of this pack is 2.6 pounds and it costs $135. Last but not least, the final category is the multi-day trip. This means I'm going out for the weekend or even a through hike where, you know, every 3 to 5 days or so, I'm gonna be going into a town. So this is not like your 14-day expedition through Alaska. I haven't tested one of those packs yet, and so maybe I'll get to do a trip like that in the future. But anyway, my favorite pack for this application is the ULA Ultra Catalyst. It's made from ultra fabric, which is stronger than steel by weight. It's twice as abrasion resistant as 420D nylon, and it is waterproof up to 200 PSI. The Catalyst in the ULA line of packs is known as the workhorse because it's rated to hold up to 40 pounds while still being a pretty lightweight pack. It's got a 75-liter volume, so with that you should be able to fit everything you need for this type of trip in your pack easily. And it has the roll down top design, which I really appreciate for through hikes or multi-day trips, because that way, no matter if you've got just a little bit of food left and your load is lighter on going into town, or you're just leaving town with a full load, you can really pack things down tightly with that roll top. They have several customizable options for this pack, like the type of straps, and then they've got optional add-ons that of course cost more, but they've got a Y-strap top option, and if you're gonna be carrying a bear canister or maybe some other piece of gear on top, that's gonna secure it better than just your typical single strap closure. I did opt in for the Y-strap just in case I take this pack somewhere where I'm gonna have a bear canister, and I've been known to carry other gear on top anyway, so I like having the option. And then on the bottom of the pack, you can opt in on double loops. And what I use this for is holding my tent. I like my tent being on the outside of my pack, especially if it's been raining all night and I pack up a wet tent. I don't want to put that inside the pack with my dry gear. Also, if it's raining when I get to camp, I don't want to have to dig all through my pack trying to find my tent when it can just be easily on the outside of the pack. So I throw it up and then throw my pack in the tent and never have to open it in the rain. And the same thing for packing up in the morning. If it's raining, you pack up in the probably damp tent, but better than out in the rain, and then take your closed up pack outside of the tent, and then you can pack up your shelter and attach it to the outside of the pack. I also prefer this option of being able to put my tent on the bottom, because usually it makes the pack more stable. It helps it stand up by just giving it a little kickstand, if you will. But I found with the Catalyst that it really didn't do that, and I don't know if it was just the shape of my tent or the shape of the pack, but with my Z-Packs Arc Haul, it did help stabilize things. On the Arizona Trail, I found that it still flopped over anyway, but I would still opt to have those loops even without it, you know, being more stabilizing. I am always testing out new gear, so chances are I will try more packs in the future, but if I had to go on another through hike right now with the gear that I have in my gear closet, that's the pack that I would grab out to go. So anyway, those are my current favorite packs as it stands in time right now. Like I said, that is subject to change as I test out new stuff in the future. But I would love to hear in the comments what some of y'all's favorite packs are for these different categories. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to share this with a friend if you found it useful, and we will see y'all next time.